What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. We are back again this morning for another one. Back again. Oh, yes. We are diving into the latest news surrounding Arsenal Football Club, as we usually do, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a toast to a beautiful day. The sun is actually shining today. Oh, the sun is shining. Arsenal getting deals done. What's happening? Big up the community, man. Big up every single one of you. Much appreciate every single one of you. As always, make sure we are hitting the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if we are new. Turn notification bells on, all of that type of stuff. Yes, a dream could come true for us, ladies and gentlemen. Arsenal are seriously considering making a move for Karim Benzema. According to the latest, we're going to dive in and talk about that. Of course we are. Of course we are. How can we not? Ivan Toney interview. Yes, Ivan Toney interview. We're going to be diving in, looking at that. That's the first thing we're going to dive into. It's a really, really, really interesting interview. I have to be totally honest. Really interesting. And he's kind of pointing out that he wants to leave. He wants to leave Brentford. He is open to leaving Brentford in January. And I don't know, a part of me feels like in the interview, I was getting the impression that there was a slight plea. There was a slight call out for help. I don't know if you guys got that same impression. I don't know. I even shared it with my partner. She didn't feel that way. She was like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. But I felt like there was a slight plea for help. And when I say plea for help, I mean like a come and get me plea. That makes more sense. Not a plea for help. He doesn't need help. But he will be returning. Ivan Toney will be returning this Saturday. So we're going to see Ivan Toney back in action. How many goals is Ivan Toney going to score on his return to the Premier League? Is he going to score a goal? Is he going to get a hat-trick? What's he going to do? Some people believe he's going to outscore Eddie Nketiah. He's going to outscore a whole front line within the next month. I wouldn't be surprised. I have to be honest. With the way our front line are moving at this moment in time, they're struggling to hit, find goals. They're struggling to hit, the barn door for 5 yards out. It's a worrying moment. And as we do know, we need a striker. Will Arsenal get themselves a striker? It remains to be seen. Of course, we're being linked with Benzema, which we are going to dive into. But I'm not going to take this one over. I'm not going to, take this one seriously. Benzema's on astronomical wages. Oh, it's mad. It's like 4 million per week. 4 million per week, bro. That's 12 million a month. Arsenal are nowhere near trying to cough that type of money up for Benzema. So if Arsenal was serious and Arsenal are considering a move for Benzema, I'm kind of curious to know what type of deal will take place. What will the Saudi Arabian team be open to doing? Benzema seems like he wants to force a move, man, back to Europe. He is not happy. There's a number of players that have gone out to Saudi Arabia and they're not happy. Even Jordan Henderson, can you believe it? He's joined Ajax. Ajax, out of all teams, Jordan Henderson has joined Ajax. Wow. I never saw that coming. I actually thought one of the teams in the Premier League will try and give him a lifeline, or someone in Europe. But, a bigger club than Ajax, with all due respect to them. Do you know what I mean? I think Ajax is like a young team, isn't it? It's a young team. Is like maybe they need that experience. Hence why they looked at Jordan Henderson as a transfer and brought him in. So yeah, it's crazy. But there's a number of players, like even Firmino. He's not happy in Saudi Arabia at the moment. There's a few players that want to move back to Europe. So let's see how this all unfolds. But let's dive into the Ivan Toney interview. I've only got about 30 seconds of this. I just want to listen to it. I want to know your thoughts on it, and I kind of want to react to it at the same time. Wax, bring in the Belter streams. Big up my guy Adam in the building. Much appreciate you each and every time. Will you be up for a YouTube boxing match versus who? I know you like a challenge, my G. I don't know who that is, but I'm up for a boxing match if the money is right. You put the money down on the table for Wax Online, I'll be in that ring. I'll be knocking jaws off, yeah? Talk to me, blood. Put the money on the table, fam. Yeah? Okay. Okay. Big up John McClain in the building. Much appreciate you each and every time. We've got Stephen in the building. Spreewell in the building. The regulars are here. The regulars are always here, man. Where are the mods, though? Where are the mods? I don't see the mods, yeah? I'm looking for new mods. I'm hiring for new mods, okay? You won't be paid, but I need you. I expect you to be promoting the channel and engaging in the comment section every time we're live on air, okay? That's all I ask from you guys, okay? Big up Derek in the building. Big up my guy Tope. Big up Russell. Big up 1962 Guna. Big up every single one of you guys that are joining. Let's actually dive straight into this and see what Ivan Toney has got to say, because this is pretty interesting. Ivan Toney, I don't think Arsenal will be able to get a deal done for Ivan Toney, anytime soon. And then I will be a bit disappointed if Arsenal then go and target Ivan Toney for a summer move. It just wouldn't make any sense to me. But let's see what Ivan Toney's got to say anyway.
Does that mean that maybe one day there'll be a right time to move on from Brentford, but this January is not that right time?
Well, I don't know. You can never predict when's the right time to move elsewhere. But I mean, it's obvious that I'd like to play for a top club. Everybody wants to play for the top clubs, fighting for titles and these kind of things. So whether it's this January, the right time was to be, a club was to come in and pay the right money, who knows?
Let me pause there for a minute. I mean, I think, I swear down, the impression I get, you see when he's saying that line there, whether it's this January and the club come in and put money down this January, I swear down at the time, I felt like he was thinking about a move to Arsenal. And I felt like he was thinking about a conversation that he already had with Arsenal about a potential move to Arsenal that could happen in January. And Arsenal might have told him, not promised him, but kind of let him know that we are interested and we are going to try and make something happen in January. We can't guarantee it. We can't promise it because of this situation that we've got with financial fair play, but we will try and get something done. And I felt like he was thinking about that when he was answering this question. And that's the reason why he said, listen, you can't really predict when it's going to happen. If someone wants to come in January and put money down on the table, then, we'll see what happens. And I think he goes on to say, like, I'd rather just let the things in the background go, deal with themselves, let them, kind of deal with that situation. But obviously, Ivan Toney knows, what time it is. I think Brentford know what time it is. It is time to move on. And I don't think Brentford, as I said to you months ago, I don't think Brentford are going to stand in Ivan Toney's way. I think they're going to be open to letting this guy go. Now, reports are actually coming out to suggest that if Brentford are going to sell the player, they want to sell him for around £80 million. Now, for me, it's stupid money. I wouldn't pay £80 million for Ivan Toney. He's a good player and he's improved since he's been in the Premier League. Each season, he's actually got better and better. But I don't know, man. 27 years old, 28 years old, £80 million just doesn't make any sense to me, especially when you have other players out there that are more qualified, younger, similar profile. It's like, why would you put £80 million down on the table for Toney? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But right now, it makes sense for me not to put the 80 million down on the table, but for Arsenal to try and get Ivan Toney done right now. Because what we're lacking is a goal scorer. What we're lacking is someone that you can put a ball on the plate for and they can just put it in the back of the net. Ivan Toney's conversion rate is fantastic. And he has proven over the past couple of years in the Premier League that he can hit the back of the net, even for a team that are swinging mid-table, even bottom half of the table. You put him in a team that are more qualified, that have got runners, that have got, not to say Brentford ain't got runners, because they've got runners. Wissar and them man there, they're runners. But, when you've got players that are just, as qualified as the players that we've got, I think Ivan Toney just takes his game to another level. He takes his game to another level. The question mark would be, can Mikel Arteta help him take his game to the next level? Is Thomas Frank a better manager than Mikel Arteta? These will be, question marks, and this will be definitely a debate to have. But I just think Ivan Toney improves what we're doing and gives us more of a guarantee of winning the title this season. Because as we do know, as we've been speaking about over the past couple of days, that has to be the expectation for this football club. Based on the interview that we went over yesterday with Edu, based on how we finished last season, second, spending 240 million in this season off the back of finishing second. I mean, you as a football club, just operating in that fashion, you would only assume that the expectation is the title in the following season. And then if you take in what Eddie was saying, again, it's the same assumption that's made right there. So look, if Arsenal want to win that title, if they want to get back on track and back in the race, because it's not to say we're fully out of the race, but we're not seriously in the race at this moment in time, are we? 5 points behind doesn't seem like a big gap, but we saw what happened last season. We were 7 points in front, and then we ended up finishing 5 points behind, at the end of the season. So yeah, it might not seem like a big gap, but it is a decent size gap, and we have to obviously be as consistent as we can be in order to close that gap. Ivan Toney is definitely the answer, in my opinion, to close that gap and give us more of a chance of winning the title. But do comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this. £80 million for Ivan Toney. Is that a deal that you want to get done? Do comment down below. Let me know. Now, another interesting story that has been going around over these past couple of hours, ladies and gentlemen, is the move for Xavi Simons. Yes, we all want Xavi Simons at Arsenal Football Club. He's an incredible player. We've seen him perform at the Emirates. We've gone up against him, twice before. We've seen how qualified he actually is. And we should have been in for this one in the summer, to be quite fair. PSG, they had a buyback clause for only £7 million for Xavi Simons. 7 million. Can you imagine that? That is amazing. How the hell did PSV agree to a £7 million buyback clause? That just goes to show you how broke PSV are. That's crazy. That's crazy business, I tell you. PSV, 7 million. He's back at PSV. He's gone out on loan to RB Leipzig. That's where he is at this moment in time. Now, the rumor is that if RB Leipzig decides that they do not want to keep Xavi Simons or extend his loan, then there will be there's a strong possibility that Arsenal will jump in the race and Arsenal will try and get a deal done for Xavi Simons. Now, PSG, they're going to make astronomical profits on this player, aren't they? How much did they sell? How much did they sell him for in the first place? Hold on, let me just quickly find out. How much did PSG sell Xavi Simons in the first place? They're making astronomical profits of a player that they're probably not even going to play. I think he's had about 7 appearances for PSG in his career. Let me just double check this. This is crazy. Look, he's had 7 appearances. Or if you include the French Cup as well, he's had 10 appearances for PSG throughout his whole career. I want to know how much they sold him to PSV for, bro. That is crazy. If we are to try and get this one done with PSG, it probably will cost us about £40 million, £50 million, to be quite fair. But, it's definitely a player that I would bring in. There's no if, buts, or maybes. There's no, no, this is a player that you'd bring in. This ain't a Fabio Vieira. This ain't Kai Havertz. This isn't, one of those type of dons. This is a player that has got bags of ability. If Xavi Simons come to Arsenal and couldn't perform in Arsenal's team, then you definitely have to question this manager. He's actually worth £70 million on transfer market. That's crazy amount of money there. I just want to know how much he got sold to PSV for. What's his GA like in Bundesliga as well? Come on, why is this moving slow, man? Allow me, blood. Fuck's sake. Got no windows open, but I don't want to share it. I can't share it because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a processor, but I don't know how to process. Fuck's sake, bro. Where's the window gone? The window just disappeared here, bro. Come on. All right, so he's on the right. He's got all right numbers for RB Leipzig this season. He's got 9 assists and 6 goals in 26 games. It goes to show you that the Bundesliga is way more better than the Eredivisie, because in the Eredivisie last season, boy, Xavi Simons was cooking. He had more GA than he had actually played games, I believe. I just want to find the number. How much did PSV pay? Did PSV pay for this, Don? I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. It's long. Can someone in the chat tell me how much PSV paid for this fraud? Because right now, we're probably going to get demonetized with what's going on here. Yeah, of course we are. Sharing Nike trainers. Fucking hell. Yeah, someone comment down below. Let me know how much PSV actually paid for Xavi Simons. That's pretty interesting because he's actually worth 70 million on the transfer market. The guy's a proven goal scorer, says Derek. I'd sign Toney and Vlahovic for 100 million, but none of them worth 80 to 100 million. Maybe Wax, as the Raya deal is gone through, we could now loan to buy Toney. Oh, that's an interesting point. Big up Bass. That's a very, very interesting point. have we actually coughed up the money to pay for David Raya? Because if we've coughed up the money to pay for David Raya, then you might have a point. We might be able to get a loan deal done. But that's only if we can trigger that permanent deal for David Raya now. If we can trigger that now, pardon me, sorry, I just moved the mic and it probably made a bad noise there. But that's a very good point. If we've got the money to pay £27 million for David Raya now, then that means we can go into a renegotiation with Brentford to get Ivan Toney on loan until the end of the season with the obligation to buy. Crazy. I go by what I see with my eyes. Arteta likes the young players because he can control them like a true groomer. Hey, you're not wrong there, boy. You're not wrong there. But it's mad how these young players will soon wake up. They will soon wake up. And it's only a certain amount of time where you can, literally be running with young players. It'll be interesting if we can get this Benzema deal done, because if we can, I would love to see how Mikel Arteta manages it. Would we see a falling out between Benzema and Mikel Arteta within a space of 3 months? I reckon we could see a falling out real quick. Wax, we have already completed the Raya deal. We own him now. All money's paid. I haven't heard that, bro. I haven't heard that though. I've heard that Arsenal are, Fabrizio Romano says the deal is going to be made permanent, but I haven't heard that the money has been paid just yet. So if it is, then that's a good look for Arsenal in a way, because if we've got rid of Cedric, we get rid of Mohamed El Neni, that frees up wages. Therefore, we can afford to get a loan in the door. Yeah, double check that, my guy. Double check that. I think it's not paid yet. The last time I heard, Arsenal were trying to get the funds together to make that deal happen. But back over to Xavi Simons. He's an incredible player, as we do know. And it does say here, Arsenal are in the picture to sign the Paris Saint-Germain youngster Xavi Simons in the summer if his loan deal at RB Leipzig is not extended. I mean, that's a wild assumption to a degree, that Arsenal would try and be in the race, because why would Arsenal believe that PSG won't want to keep him? Or do you know what I mean? There must be if Arsenal would jump in the race, there must be some form of indication to suggest that PSG are open to selling the player, or they don't want to keep him. I don't know. It's weird. I think PSG want to keep him. I think there's a number of players that PSG are actually trying to get flog off at the moment. You've got Cancelo Ramos, who we could look at him. Cancelo Ramos, who played for Benfica. He was scoring goals over in Portugal. He's gone to France and he hasn't really hit the ground running. According to Luis Enrique, he doesn't really rate him. He feels like he's a player that's not tailored to the type of football that he wants to play at PSG. So on that basis, they could be open to selling Ramos. Would we, as an Arsenal fan base, be happy to sign Ramos? And a good World Cup, good season for Benfica, but I mean, that's Benfica in Portugal and World Cup football. Premier League is a totally different beast, man. You can never really determine, based on looking at a player in those leagues, it's really hard to determine if they're going to come to the Premier League and be bad boy players. I mean, you have to thoroughly watch them. And I mean, like months and months and months of scouting, and you need to do the eye test hard. And you need to do, there needs to be so much consistency in those leagues for them to really be worthwhile looking at. It has to be like this guy, what's his name? Gyökeres. Gyökeres has proven himself in English football. He hasn't proven himself in the Premier League, but he's at Sporting Lisbon doing a mazza. I mean, he was playing for Swansea or a team like that, doing a mazza in Championship. Surprisingly, no one in the Premier League picked him up. Even a team like Burnley, even one of those teams, he would have carried that. Like for a Burnley, Gyökeres would have carried a team over a line. He would have ensured you ain't getting relegated this season, because he would have banged you 15 goals at a bare minimum, especially for a team like Burnley. But imagine putting like a Gyökeres in, I don't know, Brighton's team, or even Arsenal's team, or like any one of the top 10 teams. This guy's going to cook. This guy will actually single-handedly drive you to a top 4, top 6 position. Based on the ratio of goals that he is scoring at the moment. The averages are crazy. His overall GA is crazy. When you're putting up those type of numbers in the Portuguese league with the CV of already doing it in English football, then you can have a real look at that guy. Chelsea already had a bid rejected for that player anyway. 75 million, Sporting Lisbon rejected. Crazy. The guy's only just moved there like 6 months ago. Wow. But, when it's that type of player, you can look at him and say, you know what, it's worth a shout. It's worth a try here. But when the guy's just been born in Portugal and he's done up the Portuguese league and he's been there and, I don't know, man. You have to kind of take a step back and really analyze what's going on before trying to put a bid down on the table, because you'd end up signing another Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira will be at Arsenal for 2 years come the summer. I know he's, an injury has kept him out, so we're not going to put too much pressure on him. But if you think about the overall 18 months that he's had at Arsenal, has he been impactful? He scored a few 9 goals. I said 9. Wow, old school. He's scored a few bad boy goals. He has set some good goals up in the Europa League, etc. But has there been enough consistency from Fabio Vieira to say, you know what, you were worth the 40 million that we paid for you? No, not enough whatsoever. If we would have paid 18 million pounds for Fabio Vieira, 15 million pounds, then I wouldn't be saying anything about it. I'd be like, you know what, yeah, give this guy another 2 years. Let's see how it goes. But when you're 2 years in, 40 million pounds spent, and you can't even really deliver, you haven't even got double-figure GA for a team like Arsenal, who have been controlling possession and more or less dominating the league. One of the teams dominating the league since you have been here, and you don't have double figures in GA. Whoa, I've got to question that, bruv. I've got to question that. So, there's two things. It's either the player or the manager. Which one are you going to say? Is it the player or is it the manager? I'll probably lean towards the manager, to be quite fair, but the player has to take some responsibility, especially when you're playing with a team like what we have, Martinelli, Saka. We've got a good team, bruv. Let's not allow Mikel Arteta for the second time make us think, feel, and believe that our team isn't actually worthy of challenging for the title, because he is going to capitulate again. The team is definitely worthy. Yeah, we've got a dead bench. People will say we've got a dead bench. We know we've got a dead bench. Yeah, we've added maybe one player to that bench in the last 12 months, last 18 months, right? That we can say, all right, he could come on and give us something. But ultimately, the starting 11, if the starting 11 is fully fit and ready to play, if the starting 11 is mentally prepared to go into games and win, knowing what's on the line, listen, we've got a team to go and win. And that's it, bro. All right, it seems that Romano said it's going to be soon. Sorry, I thought I saw it went through. No, it's going to be soon, man. End of the season will make that happen. And this is the reason, man, I don't want to go into waffle session. I really don't want to go into waffle session, because I know you guys have been listening to the streams over the past couple of days, and you've heard me put the realness on the table. The financial aspect of it, the business aspect of this project, and why these decisions and why everything that comes with Mikel Arteta so far could be detrimental to Arsenal moving forward. With this profit and sustainability issue, if that doesn't get solved, we don't have money going into the new season. Remember, we're finding money for David Raya. That money's got to come first. We've got to find money to pay Declan Rice, West Ham. That money comes first. That money has to come before any money gets spent on players. If we bro, how do we do this? We're not winning trophies. How do we do this? It doesn't make any sense. We're not selling players for enough money. How do we do this? How do we keep up to these financial commitments? The financial commitments that these frauds committed. They're the ones that signed off on this. How do we achieve? How do we? You know what I mean? So, guys, we've got to look at this from a different lens. It's not about giving Mikel Arteta time because he's had to get rid of dead wood and he's had to do. No, this is a results-driven business, and based on the project so far, we're in debt. We're in debt due to this project. This project has us in debt. That's basically what this project has us in. It has us in debt. It has us in so much debt, really, even though we're not debt. We are debt because we can't balance the books. So that's where the debt is. This is what I'm saying. The debt is the balancing of the books. We can't balance the books. So on that basis, the project has put us in a debt. If we're now in this debt and we sack Mikel Arteta, the next manager has to then clear us out of that debt. The only way he can clear us out of that debt is by selling the players that Mikel Arteta brought to the club. Fucking hell, we're going to be here again and again and again. We've been here before under Arsene Wenger. We were here under Unai Emery. Come on, we're going to be here back again. And that's because the project has put us in that position. So everyone's not looking at this from that type of perspective. Everyone's, give Mikel Arteta time. I was watching arguments the other day, right, between Northside, big up Northside. We're going to have him on the channel maybe tomorrow as well, just to let you guys know, yeah. Northside, Egal, Dan Potts, all of those dons, yeah. And I get everyone's points. Everyone's points. I get the standards that, you know, Northside and Dan Potts are setting. I get some of the points that, you know, Gal will make. But ultimately, what both sides of the argument are forgetting is the business side of this. Both of the arguments, in fact, they're both missing the business side of it. Yeah, we've got the standards and how we want the fans to be, and we want to hold these guys accountable, and we want to do X, Y, and Z. Cool. I'm with that. I want to back that. And then you've got this side saying, oh, yeah, but we've had to get Deadwood out, you know, context. Mikel Arteta needs a striker. He needs more time. I get all of that as well. I get all of it. But the point that everybody is missing is the business side of it. The project itself has been backed. Money has been spent on the project. So now we need to see a return in investment. No matter how people feel about the situation, we need to see a return on investment. The only way we can see a return on investment is through player sales, which we're not getting at this moment in time due to the incompetence at this football club, or winning the Premier League. Top four is not going to be enough. Top four wasn't enough for us to keep Fabregas. Top four wasn't enough for us to keep Nasri. Top four wasn't enough for us to keep Adebayor. It wasn't enough for us to keep Clichy. It wasn't enough for us to keep Sagna. It wasn't. How many names do I have to mention? The project is still the same. The process is still the same. It's Arsenal Football Club. There's no difference. What makes it even worse now is that KSE have increased the financial operation by 50%, which means results are even more imperative. Results are so more imperative than they were 10 years ago. You think a little stadium debt and a little minor loan repayments are more worse than profit and sustainability issues? You think those situations that Arsene Wenger had to go through are worse than profitability and sustainability issues? Whoa. Arsene Wenger done his best to make sure we never, ever got anywhere near FFP. The books were clean when Arsene Wenger left. We are now in this situation because of the people that are now driving the bus. And that's not Ivan Gazidis. That's not Arsene Wenger. It's not David Dean. It's not even Usmanov, who was the real cancer to Arsenal Football Club. It's Mikel Arteta and Edu. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you're looking at this from a business perspective, Arsenal cannot continue with what it is doing. The data doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Otherwise, we will be fucked and we will suffer and we will have to sell all of our top players like we've already experienced over a decade ago. If people don't understand how that works, then you need to go and pick up a book, and you need to understand how business works, okay? This is a business. It's not just a football club. It is a business. Anyway, let's not even ramble on. I've given you guys the context. I've given you guys the understanding, and we've done it over the past 3-4 streams as well. If you want to give yourself a clearer understanding, make sure you go and watch those streams because I'll break it down for you. And in fact, what I'll do is I'll do a video dedicated just to breaking it all down for people so they understand both sides of the coin as well. I want to give both sides of the coin, the delusional side as well as the realistic side. That's what I'm going to do for you guys. I'll do it on a pre-recorded, not a live stream. I'll do it pre-recorded and I'll upload that. Many of the players were growing good before Mikel Guardiola came in. Now they are declining. Very good point. Edu probably didn't even finish high school. The project wastes millions for nothing, while Porto will knock us out soon. Rizzo says he needs to be held accountable for the new signings of Vieira, Raya, Kivior, Havertz, new contracts to Eddie, Nelson, and ESR. None of these players are good enough to play and do not add depth or strength. Exactly. And another problem we have with all of those players that you've just mentioned is that none of them will give you an ROI. None of them will give you an ROI on investment. Well, maybe ESR and Nelson and Eddie, because they were through the academy to a degree. That's the only reason why that would kind of alleviate any of that type of pressure. But you're looking at Raya, Vieira, Kivior, Havertz. Can we sell them for more than we paid for them? Nah. We probably won't. We probably won't sell any of them for more than we paid for them. So it's a loss. That right there is a straight loss for your project. You know what I mean? Bearing in mind, Nelson, Eddie, and ESR, if they're the ones that we sell for money, then do know we're thanking Arsene Wenger again. Because they're not Mikel Arteta's players. Yeah, we might have given them new contracts, but ultimately they were Arsenal Academy players that were promoted by Arsene Wenger. So, you can't really, one thing I just want to point out just before we move on to the next topics. Again, I don't want to waffle on for too long, but I know people are interested in this because people are awake now and people are understanding this and being like, you know what, this is just the real world, bro, and how it has to work. It can't work any other way unless you're just a dickhead. And I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about Arsenal as a football club. And I don't believe Arsenal are a dickhead football club. They actually mean business. Otherwise, they wouldn't have increased the value of their operation by 50 to 60%. It doesn't make any sense for you to do that if you don't mean business. So, people obviously talk about the incompetence at the football club. People say, oh, this, that, the other. Yeah. I want to quickly highlight the incompetence right now and the difference between a person that will make your club successful and a person that won't make your club successful. Now, we're going to use signings as an example. Mikel Arteta has made a number of signings, and since he has made those signings, he's got rid of some of the signings that he's made, but he hasn't made no return on investment on none of the signings that he has made for Arsenal Football Club, none whatsoever. Even the ones that are still here, if they haven't won a trophy, then they haven't returned nothing based on, they haven't returned nothing. So based on every single signing that Mikel Arteta has made so far, £700 million worth of players, or £600 million if people want to, take it there, none of them have given Arsenal a return on investment. Why? Because none of them have won Arsenal a trophy. Now, like I said, even the players that we've actually signed under Arteta that he's actually got rid of, none of them have made a return on investment. They've all been sold for less than you actually bought them for. Now, that right there shows you straight away that you ain't good enough for my business. If I'm trying to run a business and I'm trying to be successful and I'm trying to sell assets and the commodities that I'm bringing in, like personally, I don't want to be buying gold and then relying on silver to clear the debt that I've made in gold. I need gold to make me profit in gold, okay? Gold needs to make me profit, not silver making me profit because gold's now in debt. Do you understand that kind of what I'm talking about there? However, we've brought players in. None of them have made us any return on investment. Arsene Wenger, who is an absolute genius, within 18 months of being at Arsenal, signed his own player for 900 grand, sold him within 18 months for 23.5 million, bought Henry, which was a bigger investment and a player on top of the Nelka, and then built us a training ground called the London Toney, which this Mikel Arteta still trains on till this day. Now, you tell me what mindset has more business etiquette, more of an understanding of how to run a business, who would drive a successful business? There we go. So Mikel Arteta is a fraud and Arsene Wenger was a genius. That right there just proves it. That right there just proves it. And that's why under Arsene Wenger, Arsenal becomes successful. Can we say that this is going to be the case under Arteta? No, because he doesn't have it. It's just that simple. And I don't need to tell you any more than that. You can just look at those details, those little details there. That will prove to you how you're managing things. I've done a 900 grand signing. I flipped that to 25 million within a space of 18 months. You got certain man trying to sign players for 7 million and selling them for 6 million. I'm signing players for 15 million and selling them for 10 million. Okay. Anyway, man. Let's get into the next story before we continue waffling on, man. If people ain't waking up, people won't wake up, man. But you watch this channel and you'll soon wake up, I tell you. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, all of that type of stuff. As we touched on yesterday, Mohamed El-Neni will be the next player to depart from Arsenal. TalkSport confirms that Mohamed El-Neni is set to be part of a double Arsenal departure in search of game time. As we said, there's a few Turkish teams looking at Mohamed El-Neni as well as the Saudi Arabian teams, but it does look inevitable at this moment in time. Arsenal do have a slight plan to kind of free up some financial availability so we can maybe get a loan deal over the line. But let's see let's see what happens. But Mohamed El-Neni looks like he is out the door. Moving on to another interesting topic of discussion, and this is Eddie Nketiah. Now, we actually spoke about Eddie. We spoke about ESR over the past couple of days. We basically said that these men could potentially be a sacrifice, but, you know, according to Sammy Mockbell, Arsenal, you know, they don't want to sell Eddie Nketiah. I don't know what the reluctance is. I don't really know what the reluctance is for Arsenal to not sell Eddie Nketiah. Why do they really want to keep him around? I think the only thing that I can say, there's two things in my opinion. There's two things that I can say as to why Arsenal don't want to sell Eddie Nketiah. One, homegrown. Because he's homegrown, if we sell him, we need to replace him with another homegrown player. Who is available as a striker right now? Dominic Solanke. Do Arsenal fans want Dominic Solanke? Do Arsenal want Dominic Solanke? Is Dominic Solanke going to be a striker that's going to carry you over the line for the next 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years? Maybe not. He seems like a more of a bit part player. So if Dominic Solanke is going to be a bit part player, is there any point bringing Dominic Solanke in and selling Eddie Nketiah? I mean, that's how Arsenal are looking at it. Some of us might say, you know what, bring Dominic Solanke in or bring any other homegrown striker in over Eddie. Some people might feel that way. That's their prerogative. They can feel that way, right? But Arsenal don't want to sell him. So I think it could be the homegrown thing, or it could be a thing where the teams that Arsenal have been in conversations with to kind of sell Eddie, they're not willing to pay anywhere near the asking price that Arsenal are demanding. So it's either one of those two things. It can't be anything else because, come on, let's be real. The data we have for Eddie is not good enough. Mikel Arteta knows this. Arsenal know this. So if they know this and they're on the same page as us in that regard, then why are they reluctant? It has to be either one of those two. We can't find a significant improvement, a homegrown improvement who's over the age of 21, or the teams that we're negotiating with don't want to pay the money that we're asking for. So they're the only two outcomes as to why Arsenal want to really keep Eddie Nketiah here. There's definitely no other reason as to why. And I believe that's it. That's it. But, you know, we want to keep him. He's going to be staying. I don't think he's going to be a player that's going to be leaving. It has been said that if an astronomical fee gets put on the table, then, you know, Arsenal will accept. If they receive an offer that is deemed too good to turn down, basically, in the region of 40 million, then they may be tempted. But that's just straight delusional. And that just goes to show you, this also goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, that the people that are driving our bus don't actually know what they're doing. If Edu, Mikel Arteta, and Richard Garlick have seriously sat down and said, we ain't going to sell Eddie unless someone offers us in the region of £40 million, then just know this player is going to be running his contract down and he's going to be leaving as a free agent at the end of it. Okay? Because no way in hell is anyone going to give you £40 million for Eddie Nketiah. What you're going to get is half that. What you're going to get is half that. What I mentioned, 20 million. That's what you're going to get for Eddie Nketiah. And that's just what it is, man. That's just what it is. That's just the market. People think, oh, well, the market's inflated. Listen, people ain't stupid. The market's only inflated for players that people want. Do these people not know how this game works? The market is only inflated for the people that are, for one, doing numbers. If you are out there and you are doing crazy numbers and you are consistently carrying your team over the line in every single game, then the market is inflated for any club that want that player. Okay? That's just how it's going to be. That player could be really worth 60 million, but because of the one season that he's had, like Nicolas Pepe, what we're going to do is we're going to tell you he's worth 80 million, hey, or 90 million or 100 million. That's when the inflation starts to come in play. You can't inflate the price of a player that's not fucking playing consistently well. It doesn't make any sense. And this is the reason why I'm showing you this is so delusional. This is the reason why I'm showing you we've got incompetence driving our bus. Do people not understand these things? You cannot try and inflate the price of Eddie Nketiah when he has struggled to do 5 goals in a season. Come on. Stan Kroenke, wake up, please. I'm actually getting frustrated with the owners now. Because you've employed proper dipshits. These guys need to go to college and do business fucking courses. They actually need it. They don't get it, man. It is stupid and naive to actually demand £40 million for Eddie Nketiah when the guy has never proven in his life to be anywhere close to £40 million. You got the cheek to demand £40 million for Eddie Nketiah, but then you want to sell Matteo Guendouzi for 12 million. Please sack these men now. Can someone stack these dons now, please, bro? You got a cheek to ask for £40 million for Eddie Nketiah, but then you sold Balogun for £30 million. Can someone fire these dons? Please, can someone fire these people, man? These people are going to kill us. I swear, nobody's getting this. These people are going to kill us. Edu and Mikel Arteta are not good for business, man. They're not good for business. Right now, the business is in debt. Oh. We got 40 million for Iwobi. How the hell did we get 40 million for Iwobi, bro? Arsene Wenger, genius, bro. Genius. Genius. You know, we got 40 million for Iwobi off the back of... You know what the maddest thing is? Iwobi had a good season in his last season. You actually go and watch Iwobi's last season after he had been influenced by Ozil and Sanchez and that. Iwobi was having a good season. What was the main problem for Iwobi was his end product, similar to what the problem is for Martinelli right now. But if you actually look at Iwobi's ability to run off the ball, pick up space, pass, Iwobi was probably better than what we've got now. And it's the facts, blood. It's the facts. Don't let Iwobi go into Everton and ended up at Fulham make you that cloud your judgment on how qualified the player actually was. Yeah, Iwobi was a very good player. He just lacked end product. That's what he lacked. That's something that can be taught by the right manager. But come on, bro. If you go and watch Iwobi under Arsene Wenger and you compare him to what Saka, Martinelli, and them man do under Mikel Arteta, Iwobi was doing so much more. He was a much better player. And that's a fact, man. Iwobi was elite at dribbling. Exactly, man. You know, Iwobi was better than Martinelli. I mean, he might not have had the GA of Martinelli, but in terms of what he offered the overall team on the pitch, Iwobi was good, man. He was good. Big up Shay, man. Big up Shay. Nothing but love and respect to you, my guy. So anyway, it doesn't look like Arsenal want to sell Eddie Nketiah. So anything can happen in the next couple of days. We've got just under 2 weeks to kind of sort something out. So let's see what happens. We are being linked with this other player. I'm not too sure how to pronounce his name. He plays for Real Sociedad. I believe he's a left winger. Arsenal are looking at potentially bringing him in as rotation for Martinelli. So, you know, I don't know what's happening with Trossard, because I thought he was the rotation for Martinelli, but it is what it is. But also, we're looking at this player for Real Sociedad. It does look like Mikel Arteta is really scouting the Spanish league. Real Sociedad probably being at the top of that list. You know, Martin Zubimendi being a player that we've been linked with recently. And then now we've got this guy called Ander, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce his surname because that is a mad one. It's a mad one. I'm not overly familiar with him, so I can't really give an opinion on the quality that he possesses. But, you know, Arsenal scouts will attend the game against Bilbao this evening or yesterday evening, whichever time this was actually posted, to watch him. This would have been yesterday. So I believe Bilbao would have played yesterday. Arsenal would have been there to scout the player. And they're keeping tabs on this one. So let's see what happens. I'm not too sure who he is, what he's capable of doing. If anyone is familiar with him, please do comment down below. Let me know. And I'll run through those comments in a second. So Ben Jacob says, if I was listing Arsenal targets right now, I would say that Zubimendi and David Luiz are the favourites for Arteta in the summer. And then there's a possibility that he could move for Ivan Toney. So that would be the three favourites for Arsenal come the summer. That's according to Ben Jacobs. He does know quite a lot. And he mentioned that on the Done Deal show with Terry. Another young player that Arsenal are being linked with. Arsenal are reportedly seriously interested in a move for Palmeiras, a wonder kid, Willian. We're bringing in another Willian, ladies and gentlemen. And they are willing to bid hard. Pause. They are willing to bid hard for the player, ladies and gentlemen. That's according to Mundo Deportivo. Now, I'm not too sure who this young player is. Again, I can't really form an opinion on this one. Just bringing it to your attention. If anyone does know who this new Willian is, it's Estevao Willian. Portuguese. He probably is Portuguese as well. Brazilian player, plays for Palmeiras, the team that Jesus would have been signed from when he joined Man City. And he's being linked with a move to Arsenal. Again, I'm not overly familiar with who this guy is. His name's Willian. Please do check him out. And if you are familiar with him, comment down below and let me know. Okay, I believe there is one last topic of discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, and you know who it is. You know who it is. It is the big man himself, man like Benzema. Yeah? Man like Benzema being linked with a move to Arsenal. This could be a dream come true for all Arsenal fans for the 6 months left of this season. We do know that Benzema is a world-class elite player. He has been there and done it. He also has a Ballon d'Or on his CV. This is an elite monster mentality. Someone that will come in and won't have a bar. Aggression, physical, technique, movement, leadership, everything you want from a player, from a complete striker, is what you get in this player right here, Benzema. One of the best players, one of the best strikers to ever come out of France. One of the best strikers to ever come out of Algeria. I believe this guy's Algerian. I could be wrong. Could be Moroccan. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure someone told me it was Algerian. But this is, I know he's 35, 36, but this is a game-changing signing. This is the signing this season that carries Arsenal over the line. This is the signing this season that gives Arsenal fans the confidence and the optimism to say, you know what? We're gunning for this title. Arsenal mean business. This is the signing that literally can change our season. This is a signing that everybody wants at the club, apart from a small minority. Oh, but he's too old. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Benzema being linked with a move to Arsenal, and according to the reports, Arsenal are extremely serious about getting this one done. Extremely serious. Now, I don't know, what it's gonna take to get it done. Because just to quickly recap, the player is on 100 million a year. If we are to break that down month by month, it works out to be about 12 million a month. He's getting Arteta money. Arteta gets paid about 10 million a year. This guy gets 12 million a month. Hey, that is crazy. I think what does Pep Guardiola earn? Pep Guardiola doesn't even earn that type of money. Pep Guardiola doesn't even earn that type of money. That is astronomical. Now, the only way we're going to be able to get this one done, firstly, is if Benzema is open to joining the club. There are some skeptics out there suggesting that why would he want to join Arteta? Why would he want to be managed by Arteta? I can agree with that to a certain extent. But maybe he could have had the dream or the ambition to one day play for Arsenal. Or, come on. Arsenal was a more or less a French-run club. Arsene Wenger, all the players that we had. I mean, I think at one point in time, Benzema would have definitely looked at Arsenal as a destination to be. And he probably would have supported Arsenal at some point in his life, whether he decided to go on and support Real Madrid or whatever. There's always a point in a child's life, especially when you're around our age group, where you have supported Arsenal. And if you decide to stop supporting Arsenal and you support Real Madrid because whatever, or you support, Liverpool or whatever, there's definitely a time in your life where you've actually been behind Arsenal and you've supported them. And I think Benzema is definitely one of those players, especially with the connection with France. So I wouldn't say Benzema would be saying no to joining Arsenal, especially after the season that we had, and especially in the position that we are in. And especially if the vision that we sell to Benzema is we want you to come in so we can win the title this season. Because Benzema ain't the person you want to have a conversation with whereby you're saying, oh, yeah, but it's trying to, progress and hopefully we can secure top 4. Because I don't think that's going to interest him. I don't think that's going to interest him unless he is that, that wanting to get away from Saudi Arabia. I don't know. I really don't know. But the only way around this for Arsenal, if the player is on it, is if the Saudi Arabian club pay every single penny of the guy's wages. That's the only way. Is there any point in Arsenal trying to offer the Saudi Arabian club 200k a week? The guy earns 4 million a week. Oh, man. Palmeiras developed Endrick. I mean, they've developed a number of young players over at Palmeiras as well. They're a good team for young players. So, just on that basis, that young player we just spoke about could be him with a shout. Chelsea also want him. Yeah, Chelsea want Benzema. Manchester United want Benzema. But if you're looking at all 3 projects from the player's perspective, which one really stands out to you? In my opinion, it's going to have to be Arsenal, isn't it? Especially if it's only a 6-month loan. You're only going for 6 months, bro. Like, I'd rather join Arsenal, innit? Get Benzi in, but maybe he will hesitate due to Ozil treatment. I mean, that could be a possibility. That definitely could be a possibility. I just think, look, the only way we can get this done is if everything's free, man. We can't afford this. We can't afford this. We can't afford the wages. We wouldn't be able to afford money on the table because we have none, or we do have some, but the PNS is just not allowing us to flex our muscle. So we have no money. So the only way we can actually get this done is if we do obviously get rid of Cedric and Mohamed El-Neni. So we do free up some form of availability and it gives us something to offer. I don't think the Saudi Arabian club is going to accept or care about taking 200k anyway. They might as well just pay the whole 4 million per season or per week. They might as well do it. That's the only way we're going to get this one done, ladies and gentlemen. Only way. I'm not going to get my hopes up, but it would be an incredible one. It does say here, Team Talk can reveal that Arsenal are considering a blockbuster loan deal for Al Ittihad striker Karim Benzema, although Chelsea have also discussed a move for the player. So, yeah, they're considering a big blockbuster move. Their dream could come true, ladies and gentlemen, and we could sign Benzema on loan. It could have the same effect that Henry had on us when we re-signed Henry on loan. Maybe not, because Henry obviously was a legend. The moment Henry left the club, we was not as great. Still had a decent enough team to compete, but then we started to fall off. And then when we signed Henry back in, was it 2011, 2012, around that period? Yeah, he was like 35, and it was like a bit of a gas. Scored in his return against Leeds. I remember that goal. Coming on for Shamak. He come on for Shamak. And I swear down, when Shamak was going off and Henry was looking at Shamak walking towards him, I could see in Henry's eyes that he was hurt. He was hurt that a club like Arsenal were actually playing Shamak. Can't believe it. You've got Shamak up front. Oh my God, I definitely need to return. I need to come back. I can't see my dear club Arsenal trying to compete for top 4 with this fraud, this Moroccan fraud, Shamak. Nah, guys. And I can see in Henry's eyes when he was giving Shamak the 2 high fives, and he was like, yeah, get out of it, bruv. Let me show you how it's done. Come on. I can't remember how long it took. Couple of minutes, bang. Old school Henry goal, bottom corner. I remember the goal like it was yesterday, bruv. It was beautiful. Henry, man. Unless he takes a lower wage. He's not taking a lower wage, mate. He's not gonna take a look like on a loan, he doesn't have to take a lower wage. He gets the contract number that he's signed up to. It's about how much Arsenal can afford to pay towards it. So look, we can't afford to pay anything. 4 million. What's 10% of 4 million? 400,000. 10%. We can't even afford 10%. Bro, we can't even afford 10% of Benzema's wages. we just like 5% is the 200k. 5% of Benzema's wages is the 200k. Yeah. We can't afford that. It's been an absolute pleasure. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, make sure we are hitting the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if we are new. Turn on notification bells on, all of that type of stuff. I just want to run through like 2-3 more comments. I do have to wrap this up. Much appreciate every single one of you as usual. And we will be back again tomorrow morning. So make sure you are there. Let's run through some comments. What's people saying? What we got going on? Has Benzi still got his legs? Big you up, Baz Laters, my brother. Isn't there a profit and sustainability or FFP stopping Chelsea from paying a bulk of the wages? I haven't really looked into Chelsea's financial situation. I think their owner, you have to remember, look, the difference between Chelsea and Arsenal right now is that Chelsea's owner is signing the deals. Chelsea's owner is having the meetings with the player and his agent, and he's signing the contract. He's agreeing. So on that basis, what Chelsea's owner, Todd Boehly, has done is he's looked at the book, found every single loophole you can find to overcome FFP, and he's utilized it. Now, the difference at Arsenal, which is what I'm always saying, is that we have incompetence. We don't have owners that are business orientated looking at these numbers. We don't have owners that are making these decisions. We've got Mikel Arteta, Edu, and Richard Garlick making these decisions. So they're not looking at loopholes. They're not looking at trying to stagger, or trying to give players 8-year contracts, or trying to, you know what I mean? They're not trying to think of all these other things that they could potentially be doing to get more players in the door, or improve their squad, or spend more money. We're dealing with, these are not business-minded people. I've already explained in this stream why Mikel Arteta and Edu are not business-minded people. They don't know how to run business. If you left them to run your business, just know they will bankrupt your business. And that's exactly what they've done with this project. They have bankrupted Arsenal. Well, they haven't. They haven't, obviously. I'm just using that word. Their project has brought debt to Arsenal Football Club. That's what their project has done. So when you look at it from a business lens, yeah, these are two men that you would fire. Alan Sugar would have fired Mikel Arteta and Edu by now. Yeah, real business owners, real guys that run business would have fired these dons by now, based on the data that we have, as well as the financial data that we have. It's not good enough. It is not good enough. I'm trying to do something special. Hopefully I can pull it off. I don't want to say too much about it, but I'm trying to get someone special on the channel. Someone that we can actually talk to about this. Oh, if I can make this happen, it'll be the best stream I've ever done on this channel. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much. Make sure we hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn the notification bells on. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Peace you and peace you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, blood. I need you to hit the like button.